There's just no queen like a vegan queen. Hello everybody, it's me, that there Gemini.
And me, the other one, Miasma.
And as you'll see today, we are both very blue. Not that we're feeling blue.
We're not feeling blue.
We're not feeling blue. Miasma.
Yeah.
You know I share this body with Paul, don't you?
I do.
Well, do you know what he's done?
What's he done?
He's lost a tooth.
You're joking.
Now, as much as I can try and cope with this piece of paper shoved in the gap for all of this, I'd much rather just get it out on the table.
Whack it out on the table. I would never have known. That bit of paper looked good, you know.
I know a bit of rolled up paper, but I'd rather have it out and just, you know, look, Paul's lost a tooth. He's going to get a partial denture sorted. It's fine. I'm a bit upset with him. He's a bit plump at the moment and he's, you know, not looking after himself like he should do. And he knows I love him and he knows I need him, so he better get his shit sorted. That's what I'm saying, Miasma.
She wrote some lovely songs, Whitney Houston. She knows I love you. Do you know what I like? It gives you character. Not that you need character. You've got
well, I look all the more like a Limeside woman. I'd fit in quite well at Wheat Sheep and Rochdale like this and all, wouldn't I?
Oh God, yeah. Nip down to that spa, poke
a second-hand rat shopping bag on my arm,
yeah.
Talking to Belinda about how bad Brenda is.
I know. No, you okay, hon? PM me.
So why are we wearing blue?
We're wearing
Biden
blue.
Harris 2020.
We did it.
That's why.
Notice how I say we. I'm aware that we didn't vote, but I like to think we're all in this together when it comes to the cause of common sense and humanity.
Miasma, we are all in this together, and you know, just as I don't think that American people are necessarily as emotionally affected by Bojo as we are of Trump.
Yeah.
But that's because America, the UK is not Britain. The UK is not America, and America is that. The most powerful country in the world, with the most powerful leader in the world, with the most influence. And so when you see someone like Trump at the helm for 4 years and all the bad he's done, and can we just lay it out on the table now, because I know those vegan guys have had a bit of flack for talking about stuff from folks saying what's all this just like them, we've always talked politics. We've never liked Trump. And I can't speak for Miasma, but I think QAnon is a load of bullshit. What I also think is QAnon is a conspiracy theory. Miasma, get this. Run by a certain cabal of millionaires who want to demonize other billionaires and millionaires who are more kind with their money, who do more for the world around them, and who are proponents of a fairer tax system. That's what I think QAnon has just been put together by the richest of the rich to demonise the rich, and the poor people are falling for it.
You know what? Just eat the rich. Let's have done with it. No, I think you're right, because I've noticed a lot on Twitter lately about and Instagram. It's a very funny post I might add about, you know, a lot of people talking about Biden's tax plan and stuff like that when he comes into office, and it's like there's loads of pictures like, look, if your house looks like this, don't worry about Biden's tax plan. If your sofa looks like this is not for you. And it's interesting because it plays into that narrative that we've seen a lot in the news and stuff like that with in relation to class in America and stuff, and how these groups like sort of influence people, because I can't remember who it was who said it, but they said America doesn't have a working class, it has a nation of people who think of themselves as frustrated billionaires. And it's like, you need to get over the idea that you're going to become one of the 1%, because it isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's because the people that are already there don't want you there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But will folk listen? You know,
Well,
it's...
this is the
And
thing.
do you
isn't
know, we have to address this as well, because if Biden puts a foot wrong,
it? Yeah.
we'll be the first girls calling him out. Trust.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Trust. And Kamala as well.
We're not
However,
saying. Yeah.
However, their first tweets after it was called, just the first tweet from each of them, followed by the speeches from them the next night, were so what has been missing from America for the last 4 years. I'm sorry, but Trump is hateful and divisive and racist and narcissist and bigoted and misogynist, and he only cares about himself and his family, and he'll make you fight his battles for him by telling you you're being cheated.
Yeah, exactly. Taylor's old as time, love. Taylor's old as blinking time.
Oh, Taylor's old as time. I love that
Stinky
song.
like a Trump. There you go, you see. I still love that, do you? That Trump means fart in this country.
I
Because
know.
there's no better way to sum it all up, has it? This last 4 years has been one long, extended period of flatulence. Like you've had a chili and never quite shifted it.
It's been a horrible shift in what I thought was a beautifully evolving species, us.
Yeah.
Because although, like, people always complain about political correctness, and it's just, sometimes it's about not saying the quiet parts out loud. I can be sat on a bus, alright? Now, I'm not cruel to children, but there's a screaming toddler sat right in front of me. Now, I don't say to the mother, shut your child up or I will. I think it.
Yeah.
I don't say the quiet parts out loud, and I know that that's actually an intrusive thought. I have no right to be interjecting it. You know, it's her, and it's only a short bus ride. Get over myself. But so that's where it starts. It starts that small. Oh, I'm enabled. I can say that now.
Yeah. I think it's about how we talk about stuff as well, isn't it? Like you use the phrase then, political correctness and stuff like that. And I think not to be too book geeky about it, actually, what it is about reframe political correctness as respecting others. Because, you know, I didn't, Stuart did. I read a book once about language belief, and they were sort of talking about how interesting it is that there are people whose jobs or livelihoods, whatever, are built on deciding how we talk about things and what phrases we use in order to push a particular narrative. So look at something like climate change now. We used to call that global warming, but there was a case study in the book that said actually global warming sounds quite threatening, sounds like something we should really do something about because it's got connotations with fire and burning and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So what we say is climate change, because then people go, oh, well, change can be good. The seasons change, we all change.
And also, it's exactly the same with the phrases plant-based eating and vegan.
Yeah.
People are scared of vegan because we have a certain percentage of our populace who are assholes, just like in every other demographic. And that's what the judge is on.
Totally.
So...
But, you know, the positives, America's blue, you know, isn't it confusing as well, just as a sidebar, that in this country blue is Tory and red
I know.
is... Because, like, in this country, if we'd have won, we'd be wearing red.
Yes, and of course we're wearing this for America today. Nothing to do with our own country. We do not support the Tories. Do you hear me? We do not support the Tories.
I'd smack them all with a wet mop. Part of me really hopes, you know, that Trump don't concede, so he has to be like airlifted or like manhandled out of the White House like a shoplifter at the Morrisons. I would actually quite like to see it.
Apparently there's tell coming from the White House that his kind of closest So Ivanka and Don Jr. and, you know, is he called Eric, are kind of trying one by one to say to him, it's over.
Yeah, come on, love.
It's over. It's over, Daddy.
Yeah. It's like them people at the bus stop who think they're not Mussolini, like Gandhi and stuff, and it's like, alright, love, but come on, let's go home now and have a cup of tea, shall we? Not that he should be let off that easily, because I actually think he should be prosecuted next.
I think there's going to be, I think that's why he's terrified to concede. Because, you know, a wise man, an empathic man, a man who was actually in touch with the nation he'd treated like a business for the last 4 years to benefit himself, would concede by now, would realise that there's been a shift. And before anyone jumps in and says, he didn't take his pay packet for this 4 years. No, he didn't. Just so he could tell you that and deflect your attention away from the fact that for meetings and state benefits and he was using his own properties. The golf clubs and the hotels, look it up. It's all there. It's all there for you to see. It's all there for you to see. And the charges in some of them were ridiculous, like £15,000 for a banquet meal.
For a grotty old buffet.
He has creamed the White House kitty, which is your taxpayer dollars, guys and gals, to pay his to make money at his own properties.
But also,
and nobody's talking about the millions that Ivanka and Eric and Don Jr. are making right now on the back of being the president's children.
Oh, them three monstrosities. Melania must be like, thank God they're not really mine. Not Ivanka, Melania, sorry, yeah. Although, message to Melania, I don't really care, do you?
Have you heard? She's seeking a divorce.
Shocker! Shocker! There's a bolt from the blue.
Yeah, it's on me. Yeah, apparently word has it that she's seeking a divorce, and word also has it that and these are rumours. These are rumours. Rumour also has it. Rumour has it that she. The reason she didn't go to the White House when he was first elected was because she was demanding a redo on her prenup. She's not stupid. She's gorgeous and a bit thick behind the eyes, but she's not stupid when it comes to money. That's why she's still there. Who would want that orange fat marshmallow sweating, farting and rolling about on top of you while it's stuffing a cheeseburger in its gullet? Not me, Karen, and I used to be a sex worker.
I mean, replace that with a sweet potato plant-based burger and I'll think about it. But, no, but you're right. And it is that, isn't it? It's like, you know, and she's doing these really sort of half-hearted tweets at the moment, isn't she? Like, that's not true. You know, like the smallest voice in the corner. We didn't really do that.
We must have a fair election. Yeah, this is a fair election, love. That's why your husband's out on his ass.
Exactly.
And the country's spoken and said, we need unity. There is too much division in this country now, and a lot of it has been caused and perpetuated by Trump.
Yeah.
Who
Your bloody
will
husband.
He will support QAnon till the end of his days because it favours him. Now think about that. Like we said at the beginning, something that favours Trump after all he's done.
Doesn't seem to make much sense until it does. Yeah, also, can we just say as well, like that thing, I didn't know that, what you've just told me about him not accepting the salary but still creaming, you know, the profits off through use of his businesses. I will say this, there's more than one way to skin an aubergine. But also, don't do that, because that purports to be a nice thing. I'm not going to take a salary for this. Do take a salary. If you're doing a job, take the salary. Don't make yourself some sort of weird martyr that we're supposed to be beholden to. Take a fair salary And then, because if you don't, you put yourself in a position where you've got like a trump card, no pun intended. I haven't even done this. Don't mean I won't criticise you, so you may as well just take the cash. You know what I mean? It's thingy.
Well, you know, all I can say, Miasma, is that I honestly, with all of my heart, my gusset, my boobs, everything, I hope that this is going to usher in a new generation. Well, it's also important that we say there's a lot of news being shared about voter fraud at the moment. None of it from reliable sources. Every single case that has gone before a judge so far has been thrown out. Every single one. There is no voter fraud. The reason that the count was as it was because on election day they count the votes on the day first. Then they do the mail-in votes. Now, most of the people who did mail-in votes did it because they believe in the coronavirus and they didn't want to put themselves at risk, so they voted early, and by and large they are mainly Democrat. Wake up. It's very simple.
Exactly.
And now is the time to unite. Biden has said, if you voted for Trump, I know how you must feel right now, but I'm working for you too.
Yeah. Well, that's
because all Trump's done is try and divide. The Democrats are bad. Blue state bad. Blue state bad. He's tried to divide you all. Biden is saying, let our better angels, Barbra Streisand song, let our better angels be our guide now.
Defo.
So let's.
Yeah. And you know, let's take some time with... No, don't be sorry. It's interesting because I've been reading up a lot about districts as well this past couple of days. You know, how districts are designated and so on and so forth. And I never knew that either, which is really interesting. And that is something moving forward that I think the American political system should look into standardising. So it can't just be massaged. If you don't know at home, basically whoever controls the Senate draws the lines for where the districts are. So some of the districts look like this, or on that street, not that house. Because if you're a Republican in charge of that part of the Senate, you're a Republican in the Senate for that particular area. What you want to do is load your districts with Republican voters, which is why they do early polling, and then you just skip out all the people who aren't gonna vote for you, so that you have a stronger majority overall, and that needs to stop.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And the America, much like, I mean, I've been talking to Paul about Parliament in Britain and how it's that old, stuffy, foul building. It's been like that for hundreds of years, and that's why we're not progressing. Yeah. That's why we're not moving forward. It needs changing. To me, the interior needs wiping out completely, and it needs to be a round.
It looks like a grotty old snooker table, doesn't it?
It's horrible. Yeah, it does, in an old pub, an old early 1900s pub.
Oh, Mr. Wizardcouth.
With a dark wood bar and a Guinness pump that drips continuously. But I think that in America they need to get rid of the dinosaurs. Lindsey Graham is such an horrific arsehole, so far up his own arse. Mitch McConnell, them two terrify me.
They're horrible though. They're grotesque. And I don't mean that purely based on looks, although let's face it, the visage doesn't help.
I'm sure a lot of Americans feel that when they watch some of our Parliament, like Jacob.
Kim Rees-Mogg and bloody... What's that other one who's foul? Well, they're all foul, but you know what I mean. Dominic Cummings as well, who, by the way, not actually an elected official, so really should keep his nose out and stop playing castles to test his eyes. Bell end. Sorry.
Don't be. I hate him.
Can we also take a moment though? Now I don't even know if this is true or not, but it's funny either way. So Nigel Farage, sound and fury signifying nothing, to quote Shakespeare.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Sidebar as well. Run to be an MP 6 times, failed 6 times. had done this thing where he'd put 10k on Trump winning. He says so. He might not have actually done that, but either way, he thought that would make him look good, or at least the Tories. So Trump's not won. So a moment for that, and then he announces as soon as it's realised that Biden has, won, basically. He tweets, "I'm going to be on talk radio shortly discussing the situation." And somebody put, "I will bleep myself because it's rude." Somebody put, "Haha, you frog-faced bag of..." And I just thought, if that's not an epitaph, I don't know what is.
I do wish the guy would go away, I really do, but Nigel Farage has a lot of power, terrifying power, because let's not forget he was one of the spearheads in the Brexit campaign, with Dominic Cummings and Cambridge Analytica and all that bullshit that went down that just got swept under the carpet, and I'll never understand that. That was corruption like had never been seen, well, maybe it had been seen in this country before. But, you know, for him to tap into the working class man and the darkest parts of the working class man, the parts that we'd all learned were not right, not correct, you know, that were actually very primitive, he empowered them all. Something about him empowered them all, and, you know, so he scares me, Farage. He is a useless piece of crap, and I can't stand the man. But we're about to leave the EU because of him. It was he started it all.
I mean, and I have to say it, and this is all judgments aside, accepting how much I hate him, that is a remarkable achievement for someone who officially does not have any power. You know what I mean? Like,
well, he was leader of the Brexit party, wasn't he, for a while?
No, he still is. He was the leader of UKIP, weren't he? And then now they've launched the Brexit party. It's tiresome people, and just stupid. It's like, well, what? Me, like, what do you want? You got what you wanted. What do you want?
Now they don't want it.
Yeah.
Now everyone's realising the implications of it, and the fact that it's going to be more difficult for them to go abroad and buy a load of fags. In fact, they won't be able to do that anymore.
I know.
Suddenly it becomes an issue where it's like, hey, but I did it to stop the Muslims coming in.
Yeah.
You thick bastard. You didn't pay attention. You listened to Farage. And sometimes during that campaign, they lied by omission.
Yeah.
They didn't tell you that the immigration impact, that wouldn't have, that we had control of that anyway, just not within the EU.
Well, exactly, and also by very definition of the thought, illegal immigration isn't going to be solved by official policy, is it?
No.
By virtue of the fact that it's illegal immigration.
It needs to be. Something that's looked at very closely, though, Miasma, because there's been yet another family of 4 have died in the sea. Now, these people, you don't do this. You don't do this for fun. You don't do this for shits and giggles, or because you think, oh, it's going to be much easier over there. I'll get in a dinghy and cross an ocean with me children. Do you know what I mean? Also,
sidebar, there are better countries, if that was all you were doing it for. There are far better countries than the UK.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, sorry, caveat before anyone comes for me in the comments, I know that the UK is a collection of countries. I'll just caveat that, because sometimes, you know, I do understand completely that they are separate countries, of course, but like, I'd bugger off to Scandinavia if it was on a whim. They got a way better standard of life than we are. Better economy, so on and so forth. They have their problems like other countries, but what I'm saying is, I think when people think about people that they would call immigrants coming to the UK, they still think it's the UK of that weird golden age time, like as if it's some shining beacon or something. And I'm like, not being horrible, and I do live here, but it's a shithole. There's some lovely people in it, but it's
some marvellous people in it, and it's, do you know, it has great potential, like every country, but they all keep being run by middle-aged men who are stuck in the old-fashioned ways.
Exactly.
And who are trying to protect themselves and their brethren. Don't come for my pocket. Don't come for my pocket. That's my money. I made it. Sat there with your billions. We've talked about... Do you know, we've gone right morbid on this channel, Miasma.
I don't think it's morbid, though. I think it's interrogatory. It's like, we're going, yeah, we'll have a laugh, yeah, we'll have a joke, but also, we're going to spill some red-hot political tea, actually. And if... Not to insult anybody, I don't mean it like this, but if watching our video you didn't know about some of these issues, then good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I get you.
And you know, and I do think that to pick up on what you said before as well about, you know, Biden saying that I'm your president as well to the people who voted Trump. And I think it applies in the UK as well. But there's been a lot of talk about, you know, like building bridges, so on and so forth. We need to empathise. Somebody quite influential tweeted the other day, to everybody who voted Biden, we know you're dead happy now. But, you know, think about the people who voted Trump, you know how they feel. And it's like, I get it. I get the sentiment of what you're saying. But I think when we're saying things like that, you have to be so aware of the gravity of what you're asking of people. Particularly people that are not white, particularly the trans and LGBTQI community, particularly the differently abled community. You are asking them to forgive people and build bridges to people who voluntarily voted for someone who essentially wanted to see their extermination. In not phrased as extermination. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I get it, and it's a nice sentiment, but that's going to take time.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be very patient with people, because that's not a simple conversation to have.
It's not.
You know.
It's not.
Sorry, anyway. Sorry.
It's all right. I think I'm going to need to...
yeah, absolutely.
Do this. So, we'll do this. Oh, my asthma, I do like those transitions with all that flashing light and shenanigans. It's marvellous.
It's knobbly. It's knobbly.
Now, we've got something to talk about, haven't we? Because we did something ever so fun.
We did. He were daft and filth. He were daft and filth.
So,
I've said it twice now, so you know what I mean.
This lad that Stuart knows, Adam is he called?
Called Adam Bird.
Yeah. He gets in touch with her and he says, my asthma, will you and your man watch a film and talk about it while you're watching it? So I says, of course. Well, I didn't know I was being bloody recorded. I had no idea.
I thought it was just a nice thing what he'd offered us.
Anyway, it was fun. It's 1 hour. The film was Sex Madness. It was all about syphilis, so it was very rugged and hard to watch. Difficult, really. But we got through it. We got through it.
I saw things I'd never seen. A laundrette at one point.
Somebody knitting a chastity belt. There were all kinds going on. Anyway, I'll link the video up there. I'll have to do it this. I'll link the video up there. Also up there throughout this segment, I'm going to link Stuart's channel. The library is open. Those vegan guys' channel. Those vegan guys. And anything else we might mention, so they'll just pop up just up there randomly. But right now, here, my asthma, we cannot talk about other folks' politics without talking about his own politics in this here country. I'm furious, me.
Why are you furious, love? Tell us all.
Suspending Corbyn from the Labour Party.
Oh, I know.
Now, here's some clarity for some of you people out there who might not know. Israel defined its own guidelines of tackling antisemitism that each country must accept. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
One of them is do not criticise Israel. So when Corbyn first kind of accepted the agreement, he said, we will allow criticism of Israel within the professional aspect of politics.
Mm-hmm.
That's labelled as anti-Semitism. That is labelled as anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very, very, very dangerous territory. And I tell you what surprises me, Miasma, that when it comes to politics, everyone's up in arms if it's anything to do with Muslims.
Mm.
What? Giving them rights? Do you know what I mean? And Israel has protected itself in this little religious bubble based on an old book that needs burning now. And everyone's beholden to them.
I think it's a really strange setup, isn't it?
Very.
Because obviously Judaism is ethno-religious. We know this, and that's one of the things it doesn't have in common with the other major religions in the world, in the sense that it's a racial identity as well as a religion. So that's very slightly different as well. But at the same time,
no,
Judaism, like the religion aspect,
Judaism isn't a race. Israelite.
It's considered ethno-religious though. In terms
really? Because it's one of the Abrahamic religions when all's said and done, and there are three: Christianity, Judaism.
I know. I'm not saying that's like we have to just go with that. I'm just saying in terms of how it's viewed.
And I know that the whole reason Israel exists is because of a passage in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Yeah. I'm not au fait with the Bible, unfortunately.
The Israelis will return to their land, kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Which is like, I mean, that's fine. It's like, nobody is saying that overt anti-Semitism in terms of how that manifests as both, hatred and racism is okay. I don't think that's what anybody is ever trying to claim.
Absolutely not.
But I think
it is not okay. It is not okay to dislike someone because they are Jewish.
Yeah.
Absolutely not okay.
In any way, shape, or
not
form.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to dislike that they dislike you or look down on you or expect too much from you. That's okay.
That's a human thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And there's the big difference there. I know loads of Jewish people. Not particularly Orthodox Jewish people, necessarily, but very respectful and lovely people. And many of them are very, very, very against how Israel presents itself politically on the Middle Eastern landscape. Just the other day I was watching, I don't know if it was Al Jazeera or RT. I switched through the news channels quite a bit. I like to get a very wide perspective of what's going on.
Absolutely.
And it was a report about 15 Bedouin families who lived in this space in the middle of a load of sand, obviously not doing anybody any harm, and the Israeli army had come along and flattened everything. And this was just 2 days ago. So this is still happening. Now this has had international outcry. The United Nations has got, a lot of people don't know this, so many resolutions against Israel's expansion and destruction of Palestinian properties, and they call these things war crimes.
Yeah.
But it's just a United Nations resolution.
Yeah. I mean, we all make resolutions, don't we? Do we keep them by January the 3rd, It's interesting, isn't it? I think if anything, it's probably the best argument. Israel, the Israeli state, is the best argument for secularism in politics.
Yes, absolutely.
That you could possibly have.
Define the word. In fact, can I?
Should have nothing to do with the government of a country. Doesn't matter what faith it is. It should be entirely separate.
And for those of you that don't know, because I know it's sometimes words get thrown out and you don't have the opportunity to say, what does that mean? Secularism means state without church, unaffected by, not linked in any way, shape or form. Secularism is the state.
Yeah, sorry, thank you for clarifying that, yeah. And I think that should just be the status quo across the board.
Absolutely, of course it should.
Irrespective of country profile.
Yeah, of course it should.
You know, because, I think, because there's this, like, perception, isn't there, about, like, to go back to what you said about Islam and Muslims and stuff, that, you know, in our white Western heads, we associate particular countries with Islam. And so on and so forth, and that may not actually represent the faiths or lack of faiths of the people that actually live there, you know. It's dangerous when it becomes a byword for that country.
Yeah, because I mean,
like, how many Christians are in India? How many Christians are in Pakistan? A lot.
Yeah, and in Palestine as well.
Exactly.
In Palestine, it's mainly Muslims and Christians living side by side, very happily together, getting destroyed by the Israeli army, muchly.
Yeah.
So,
and that's not because they are Jewish. That is because of the political dimension that they've equated with their faith, and that's the issue.
And it's also because of conscription. Because if you live in Israel, you have to fight in the army.
Right.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
It's like there's no choice in Israel. You do a minimum amount of time in the Israeli army, whether it be catering or whatever you do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's...
I mean, there's quite a few countries that do, I guess what we would have called in this country, like, national service.
Yes. Yeah.
They still do, and I know Korea do, and some of the Scandinavian countries do as well.
There's a very interesting video on YouTube, actually, about 3 Israeli conscientious objectors and how they had to... It's a long time ago that I watched it, but they really had to kind of run away and hide, you know. So it's just... I mean, I try, honestly, Miasma, I try not to be anti-religion, but right, here's me, an LGBTQIA woman of a certain age,
paper in her tooth,
many acronyms, you know, many labels that I carry. I'm empathic and I'm very liberal and I care about people in the world, and I see people that are religious far more cruel, far more judgmental, far more dismissive, far more accepting of negativity than I am, and I'm not religious at all. So it gives me a funny perception of religion, because I think sometimes it can be used as a kind of shield against judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you know, interrogation. You may not, because this is my faith. And, you know, it's like there's still far too much power given to something that is essentially a choice.
Absolutely.
Like, I really like hummus, yeah? If they banned hummus tomorrow, I'd be gutted. I'd make my own anyway on the sly. I'd do it on the black market, you know. But I don't expect the rest of the country to make an allowance for the fact that I really love hummus.
Absolutely. And we're not saying, like, that we should go back to the days where you had to paint a fish, do you know, outside a building or something, and that was like the secret symbol for Christianity, because it was frowned, everything was frowned upon. You're free to believe whatever you want, you're free to worship whoever you want, but if that starts to encroach on the lives of other people, then the goodness, the purported goodness in the thing you are worshipping is gone, because it's become oppressive of somebody else, and oppression is never good or religious.
Absolutely.
Never.
No, absolutely. You know, it's that old adage in it. There's nothing wrong with faith. Religion is where I have the problem.
Well, you know what? To all the people out there, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, atheist, agnostic, pagan,
See,
Zen,
Sikh, Hindu, Buddhist.
all of the above.
Not the Scientologists though, because you're weird.
If you accept and love and care for me, ditto. Thank you.
Yeah. Beautifully put.
It's that simple, isn't it, Miasma?
Yeah.
It's that. It's.
Sorry, I was just a bit glib there about Scientology, and I apologise because I said except for Scientology, you're just weird. But actually, no, because I don't think it's any weirder than any of the other faiths. If I'm honest, people always go, "Oh, Scientology, that's bonkers," and I'm like, talking snake, water into wine, burning bush.
One man, one woman.
Shall we go on? Then suddenly random loads of other people like the population of Trumpton appear. They're all, yeah.
Do you know when Paul did Children of Eden at college, and Stuart directed another version of it at the same college, didn't he, years later? Lovely.
That's right, yeah.
But when Paul did it and I watched it and I thought, hang on, where's all these folk come from?
Exactly.
How, where, what, how? And even when Noah lands the boats after the flood, how have all them folks survived?
Yeah.
There's loads of them.
What they've been doing.
There's loads of them out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And why did none of the animals eat each other on the ark? And if you're going to do that, why did you save wasps? Not that I'm saying that wasps has to justify their existence in order to exist, but they don't do all, do they? Do you know what I mean?
Well, they do. They scare the shit out of me and make me run a mile, screaming.
Well, I suppose so, yeah.
But I know I've had to learn to just kind of sit there in Kefalonia a couple of years ago. There's this lovely little restaurant in Sammy, and we went there a few times. Had chips, gigantis, which is butter beans in a spicy sauce, and dolmades, and bread, crusty bread and cold beer, gorgeous. Or a sangria, oh lovely. Anyway, start sitting there. Gorgeous waiter, gorgeous Karen, gorgeous. Anyway, these wasps kept coming around and I was like, oh no, I was getting up and I was running away, my skirt was dead short, all my fast.
She's there voguing at the wasps.
My skirt was dead short, all my fanny was showing and everything. I didn't care, I just kept going up and running away. Jason and Paul were laughing their heads off at me saying, oh, you daft you girl. Anyway, it's happening this second time and I'm doing all this and the waiter comes past, oh he's handsome, and he just goes, wasp attack. Well, it cured me. I laughed my head off, and I just thought, there's no point, just let them. Well, then they were landing on me, they were landing on my food. I was just like, you get some beans, Beryl, and then off you piss, you know.
Off you piss. Well, you see, as soon as you went, oh, it's alright now, they were like, new friend, because in my head, this is what wasps talk like. New friend, go and have a chips.
Did you know this? This is a fact. Wasps are born black, jet black.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And they have a red skull tattooed on their back between their wings. But, so I mean, you know, warning sign, I'm gonna hurt you. I'm poison. Any road. A few thousand years ago, this one wasp, queen of the wasps she was, called Mildred. Yeah. And she says, I've noticed, well, she got everyone's attention first, took a while, but anyway, and then she says, I've noticed, someone at the back said, we can't hear you. She says, hey! I've noticed they don't like us out there. They're swatting us away. They're spraying us. They're eating us. But the bees, they like them. So I've brought in someone to teach you all to knit. And I want you all to knit your own yellow and black striped jumper. We'll make them think we're King Bee. And everyone's like, whoa! And she's like, she died not long after in an incident in a fish shop with a fluorescent light and a rather sad looking tray. Any road. So that's now what happens with the first thing a baby wasp is taught is they're not going to like you because of the way you look. So some crochet, some knit. I believe that some Indian fabric wasps brought out a whole line of fabric so that people didn't have to kind of, you know, knit. Of course they use wool because they're not even vegan. And here we are.
Do you know something? I never knew that, but now, doesn't it also explain the Conservative Party? That must be what baby Tories get told as well. They're not going to like you, so knit yourself a costume so you look like a human.
Yeah, or just steal a skin from a poor person.
Yeah, just step in. Oh, exciting, love.
What?
Speaking of knitting, well, not knitting, but garments, we've got news, haven't we? Vegan Queens have got
Oh
news.
my god. Oh my very, 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 very god. We've got bloody merch.
We've got merch!
We've got
Karen, we're on
merch.
the vest.
In the link down there, you'll find, I think it's t-shirts, hoodies, vests, and ladies fitted t-shirts. They've all got the same thing on at the moment. Now, more colours are coming. For now, it's just white. Because I was having some trouble with the image, miasma.
Oh, really?
It's alright, I'll sort it. Yeah, you know the image of Gemini with the spiral top on?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
all the spirals, bar one, keep going transparent. So
Rude.
then the colour of the t-shirt shows through, apart from one spiral, which is white. It don't look good.
No.
So,
You don't want to be flashing people without your consent, do
do you know what I mean? So...
You've got to choose your moments. But yes, we found you asked, we did.
We did it.
You know,
And-
a massive love out to Mama Gemini for taking the lead on that.
Oh, do you know?
She's a good egg and she's right good.
Alright, enjoyed it, miasma, I did. And there will be more
Good.
merch coming. There'll be more designs, there'll be a lot more colours, there'll be there'll be a lot more. But do have a look, because it will be a great way to support us in these times when we're in lockdown in us kitchen. Try to have funny. I mean, this takes a long time. I don't do this just for anybody. I might do it occasionally when Cedric's coming round, but you know, most of the time, I don't look this glamorous, this gorgeous.
She's lying, she always looks like. But yeah, have us on your boobs. Treat yourself for Christmas. It's coming up.
Well, the statements on there are for all vegan queens.
Absolutely.
When you're a vegan queen, you belong to the vegan queens. That's why we took the name. It's not our name. We represent the vegan queens. So the vegan queens is about you. Of course, our faces are on there, but the words are the most important. Love the words.
Absolutely.
Well, miasma, have you got anything else to talk about? Have you seen anything wonderful lately?
Not seen a right lot, you know. I'm still glued to my Hallmark Christmas specials. Not gonna lie, I'm having a brilliant time.
I've
Putting
got.
tree up soon.
I mean, not that I've much choice in the matter. Oh, you alright?
Yeah, no, fine. It was just a thingy on me recording. I was like, oh, that's not stopped recording, as it hasn't.
Good.
It's fine.
Not that I have much choice here with the boys. They watch what, and I have to watch what they watch. But Star Trek Discovery. Oh, season 3. Oh, it's been so lovely. And for those of you that don't know, by the way, because you might not know, if you do watch Star Trek Discovery, if you go to Star Trek Discovery on I can't even remember. I can never remember which they're on. It's because I use them both on the. It's like on my Amazon Fire Stick is also Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix, as I recall. I think.
But if you go to trailers and more, there's about 4 or 5 little short movies that tell you other stories, and some of them build on how the characters in Discovery came to be in Discovery. Honestly, watch them. And they're just hidden there in trailers and more. So good. So good.
Little Easter eggs. Yeah.
I don't know whether I've mentioned it before. I know Paul's mentioned it, but I do also have to mention Over the Moon.
Oh right, no, I don't think you have actually.
Movie.
Paul might
It's
have,
a bit like a Disney movie. You know, like a musical. It's beautiful. Miasma, it's absolutely beautiful. Over the Moon. It's either Amazon or Netflix. Can't remember. Sorry, check it out. Beautiful.
Give that a Google.
Beautiful. You would love it. There is the most amazing woman doing the most fierce drag queen number I have ever seen in my life. On the moon, in space, floating around, everything. Costume change, the whole kit and caboodle.
Shall we nick it for when we're finally back live?
We'd never be able to do it, darling. Watch it.
Right. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you where I have watched what I love, and I'll say this on behalf of Stuart. If you're not currently watching, although you can get the old episodes on Sky Arts on the telly box on Real Telly every Sunday. Sky Arts Book Club. It's brilliant. It's Andy Oliver and this other woman and Simon Savage, who has a channel on here, what Stuart knows, and they talk about the latest releases with a real life book club, what they bring into the studio, and then they have the authors in as well.
Nice.
And they do loads. It's not just like literary fiction, it's all sorts, crime, non-fiction. Brilliant.
Oh, nice. Good shout out, Miasma. That's lovely.
Thanks, love.
Marvellous.
Thanks, love.
Marvellous, I tell you.
Marvellous.
Right, my love. Because we don't want to, you know what it's like, we don't want to make it too... I don't know. I mean, we seem to have only been recording... Oh no, we've been recording a long time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Have we? This second time?
About an hour, love.
Oh,
About an
right,
hour,
we
love.
better call it, haven't we, love?
Probably shouldn't we? Otherwise we'll have no talk about in the next episode.
Now, this might be up earlier because us girls are filming on a Monday for the foreseeable future. We used to film on a Thursday, and I'd usually get it up straight away, so I probably won't get it up straight away, but over the next couple of days. Although, you know, if I get bored this afternoon, you never bloody know, Miasma.
Who can tell? It's 2020.
I know.
It's up for grabs. Deal with it.
Anyway, it's been lovely catching up with you, and it's been lovely talking politics and life and stuff, you know.
And bits. Yeah.
So, we'll say... Well, you say your goodbyes. Go on.
I will. I shall see this soon. And once more, congratulations to America on the election. Well done. Mwah. Love yous.
Thank you, my darlings. We'll see you again very, very soon. And don't forget to check out the links that I've linked up there. We'll be back in a fortnight, putting the world to rights again, in lipstick, of course. We'll see you then. Lots of love, everyone. Bye.